Hello everybody, VG Time here again with another deck profile. And your eyes aren't deceiving you, I did get top 4 at my shop championships with Shroom and Salsa. So no need to go any further, let's just get into the deck itself. So Shroom and Salsa, if you don't know what he does, or what they do, is that when you combo with a black card while he's in combat, you get to make your opponent warp a battle card in their drop, and if they don't have any battle cards in their drop, you get to draw a card. That's a very powerful effect. I was sniping draw apes and all kinds of stuff over the weekend. When he swings, he draws, and he has a dual awaken ability that if your opponent has 4 more cards in their warp, or you have 4 or less life, you get to untap 1, draw 1. It wasn't uncommon for me, and it still isn't uncommon for me, to awaken at 7 or more life, just because how easy it is to really get 4 more cards in their warp. Another thing is on the backside, he has a really relevant ability. If they don't have any battle cards in their drop area, you get to pay 1 and play a 2 cost or less Demon God, Demon Realm Race, or Evil Wizard from your deck or hand into play. So that allows you to abuse a couple of cards in the deck, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So the first thing that caught people by surprise was my choice of Unison. That is Black Smoke Dragon. So I know he was recently errata, but he was errata to work with Demon Realm Races, which this guy is. So he has great typing. You play this on 1, you tick up to 2, you tick down, draw a card, and then you kind of just like pass. That's if you're going first. Now your opponent has to swing and combo a card to hit him. And once they do that, you set up your leader's ability to swing, combo, warp a card, draw a card. Or they might make another attacker and then swing on leader, and you just combo, warp the card in a drop, and draw a card. So he's kind of throwaway. Where he becomes really good though is if you are able to keep him alive and establish one of these guys right here, which is Dark Shenron. So Dark Shenron has the ability that if your opponent's battle card is sent from their drop area to their warp due to one of your skills once per turn, you get to draw a card and warp one of their battle cards. It's an extremely busted effect. I don't know why this card isn't seeing play, other than it's not searchable and it costs 2. But in this deck where you could defensively combo on your leader attack, warp one of their cards in their drop area, possibly draw a card with the leader, and then draw a card for this and warp a battle card, stupid. And when this was out and I didn't want to attack, I would just play one of these, tick up, tick down, warp a battle card in their drop, draw a card off of him, and then draw a card and warp a card off of this. So I mentioned the 2 cost or less guys that you could make off your leader. One of the primary ones is Gravy. We run quite a bit of Overwhelm, so having Gravy out there swinging and getting cards back is really good. He's also one of the better cards to combo with, especially if you have established graveyard control. Like they swing on you, you just combo this Gravy, draw a card, put 2 cards back from the warp to the drop, and now you have 3 cards useful for Overwhelm later on. This Gravy right here, 2 of. This guy right here is a beast. Swings 30 most of the time. Again, if you're establishing drop area control. Even if not, a lot of times you could just swing with this guy and you tell someone that they may do something. They go, oh no, I'm not gonna do it then. And you go, okay, he becomes 30. And they're like, ooh. And he just swinging 30 over and over again. Mecha, another great card to play for 1. You could use this to set up your kill turns. You can use this to not get killed. It's just overall a great black card. So now we have our beaters. Demogra. This card was expensive, but it's getting reprinted in the anniversary box, so it should be pretty easy to get. If you don't know what he does, you pay 2, you Dark Overwhelm. You get to warp a battle card on your opponent's side of the field, draw a card, and then you get to swing and warp a card out their hand. So one of the things that a lot of people talk about is, well, you might warp that first card, maybe even a second. How are you getting the third and fourth card to be able to awaken this dude if they just don't combo cards? Then you go, yeah, you play this guy, you warp a battle card on their table, you swing to warp a card in their hand, you get to awaken. Simple as that. I did have a little issues with the deck being 50 cards. I might actually bump it up to like 53. One of the cards I want to bump up is King Vegeta Kingdom Lost. This card right here is like a mini version of this. Sometimes easier to pull off than this if you had a good set of cycle and warping. Basically, if your opponent has 3 or more cards in their warp, you get to play this for 2. It has barriers, so it's great in the green matchup where you have to worry about charismatic villain. You get to either rip a card from their hand of your choice, or you get to rip one of their battle cards off the field and it goes to the warp. Either way. It has double strike, which is a sorely lacking keyword in this deck. And when he's in rest mode, if they try to attack you, they have to warp a card in their hand once per turn. So usually what he becomes is almost like a deadly defender. Your opponent just gonna keep swinging at him until he finally dies. And it's easier to defend 19k than 10k. Darkmass King Devilish Dominator. This card right here is still really good. I just think I'm gonna trim him down to 1. I see him like at 2 all the time. I mean like both copies, and you only really need to play 1. He kind of just ends the game by himself. Unless they're playing heroines and then you just get blown out and you hate life. So one of the things you have to have is cards that you want to combo early. Like Gravy is a great combo card, but you don't want to combo Gravy early. You want to combo Gravy after like you made a Demogra or something like that. So early on, my combo cards are this Boo. This Boo right here, when they just swing him for 10, you can combo with it, draw a card, and then use it to draw 2 cards at the end of your turn by pitching one. So you're not messing up your overwhelm count. Other one caught people by surprise is Kai. Kai is amazing early game against decks that can swing for 15. So think about like your starter Vegetas or the decks that like to play the one cost, take a life, become 15k guys, whether double strike or critical. They swing at you, you combo Kai, you draw a card, get back up to 6 cards in hand, you got out the attack, and you're good. And of course, late game, you could just shotgun with this at the end and just make a guy too big. Speaking of Kai, we play her as a negate as well. This card right here messes up a lot of combat. He is also great at warping tokens so that they don't get the token back. All kinds of cool things. Oceanus. So Oceanus is a trap for your opponent. You just kind of throw them out there, and a lot of times they don't respect the mill 4, and they'll usually like go, okay, I'll attack again. They'll mill 4, you just block, and they're like, oh, okay, well then I'll attack again. You just like do another negate, or you just combo, or you do whatever, and you just look at them, and now they're 8 cards down in the deck. And then sometimes they really lose their mind and they attack again, and you're just like, and you just stop it some other way. And now they're like looking, and they're wondering like how they're gonna get through these turns because they only have a few cards left in the deck, or they milled all their important pieces or whatever. Overwhelms. Secret Identity. Kind of goes without saying, is one of the best overwhelms in the game. Just play it. 25k beater. you warp all the stuff that they have on the table that they built up. So that way you're able to control their board state. This is also a way that we could get to our 4 or more cards in Warp Awakening condition. You get to just, you know, build up a drop area with either comboing or one of the cards I'm going to show you in a second. And then when they get a couple of dorks out, you just play this, you warp them, and then you just awaken. So that's good. Fighting Against Fate. Swing twice, 25k. Good enough to close out some games. Power Overseeing Time. This is a suggestion from the homie Mike. Basically, it could get back any battle card in your deck by paying 2 and overwhelming. That means you could get back Oceanuses, you could get back Kais, you could get back these Kais, you could get back, you know, whatever you need. Speaking of Kai again, she's our ultimate. Kai Ultimate creates dread in a lot of opponents. They spent all that time and energy setting up unisons and a big dumb board, and you just go swing, they go okay cool, and you just go Kai. And they know that all that work they did just didn't mean anything. And you pay 1, you get rid of it all, and you start turning on whole other cards like Darkmass King. 2 copies of Bibbidi Super Combo. Almost always 15. Every single time throws the opponent off guard. So I just think it's just an amazing card. Gotta move some of this stuff up. 2 copies of Vegeta Super Combo. Kind of goes without saying. It is a little hard to use in this deck because of how healthy you are. But when it gets to that late game point and you need to be able to, again, shotgun for a win, can't do much better than that. And when they try to come at you with the shotguns, you can't do much better than that. And then the most important card that was added to the deck, 4 copies of Majin Buu Human Extinction Attack. That's suggested by the homie Rising Phoenix Odyssey. When I was playing the early versions, I wasn't running it. He was saying, hey, run it because it'll help you to exactly set up your overwhelms. It also helps to warp cards out the drop, which would then trigger this, and you get to basically turn this into a 115k that draws a card and remove a card when this guy is out there. Yeah, it just overall, it just does everything the deck wants to do. Also, you don't want to be really negating a whole lot in this deck because you want to be able to cycle cards with your leader and stuff like that. So usually if you're using the negates, it's to either stop a really wide board attack or to deal with something that's completely outrageous. Otherwise, you want to combo out of things, use this, and do all that stuff. So yeah, Shroom and Salsa. Lots of ways to play it. This is the way I'm at. Like I said, it's not the final version of the deck. I plan to go up about 2 to 3 cards. So that's it. Again, did the impossible, and that's VG Time signing out.